Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, I Engineer Shad Muhammad, lecturer at Department of Civil Engineering, Comsets University, Islamabad, Sahiwal campus. Welcome you all to this another interesting lecture of Mechanics of Solids 2. This will be our lecture number 21, and we will be continuing our previous lecture on stress transformation. And we will be defining stresses on general surfaces. So what we discussed previously is this, that orientation of stresses is very important. So we will be continuing that concept and relating those concepts with more development. We saw in the previous chapter that for isotropic materials, normal strain along x and y axis are related to sigma x and sigma y, and strain is related to shear stress tau xy. Isotropic materials. Isotropic materials are those materials, iso means same and tropic means material properties. If they have same material properties in all directions, same in tropic all directions. So if same material properties remain consistent in all directions, x, y, z direction, then they are called isotropic materials. Okay, what about isotropic properties? What are those properties? Isotropic material properties on the basis of which we call material isotropic material are those properties like modulus of elasticity or Poisson ratio, deformation in one direction, a y direction, and deformation is another direction, and modulus of elasticity. They are the categorizing factors for the isotropic materials. Okay, in previous chapter we discussed that isotropic materials can be subjected to normal stresses. Normal stress in x direction, that will be called sigma x, and normal stress in y direction, that will be called sigma y. And shear strain, okay, there is shear strain. So against normal stresses you will be subjected to normal strains, and normal shear stress against shear strain. So we just found that there are normal and shear strain involving segments not aligned with x and y axis. So if your materials are not aligned, if your material is deforming in such a way that they are not aligned with x and y coordinates, then there is a possibility of existence of normal strain and shear strain. So first there are two ways. If you are just going from moving from 0 to 10 or 10 to that, if you are going from force to stress and stress to deformation, that's one way. And another way is backwards. First there is body is assumed to be deformed, and you study deformation, and then you move backward to stresses and then forces, and that's why. So whatever the case, here we discuss the stresses that must be associated with those strains. In our previous lecture, we studied that there are normal strains and shear strains. So again, and they depend on orientation of the member. So now we will be relating those strains or that orientation with stresses. Alright, here we will discuss stresses that must be associated with those strains. All these different stress components corresponds to different ways of viewing forces on an element at same point. Alright, this is important. Number one, each stress components represent a force per area between two bodies across some internal surfaces. Stress is always applied on an area on which force is applied. So for defining a stress, you need two components. You need an area. What you will do with area when there is no load? There should be loading too. So in whichever direction you are going to apply the stress or calculating the stress, you need an area and the relevant force. Stress is force per unit area. But between exactly which two bodies does the force act? Which two bodies? This is important, that either that is horizontal, either that is vertical. Okay, let's discuss cases. The x y coordinate axis, this is x and y coordinate axis, define one set of natural surfaces on which we can separate the region of interest into two bodies. So x and y are such coordinates that along which we can separate the bodies. Either we can separate bodies in horizontal direction, horizontal plane, or vertical plane. For example, we can talk about the stress between these two bodies. This is a general body, and we have separated them together from each other, and we are interested in these two components, these two bodies, and the surface separating the body is in a YZ plane. YZ plane. Okay, this is XY plane, and you can see this is X and this is Y. We are separating a plane. Plane is a rectangular body. We are separating a plane. This is like a solid body and we are cutting with a knife. So that will be in Y and this front portion will be Z. YZ plane we will be cutting, shearing. So that will be, separation will be in YZ plane. Understood? This is very important. Separation will be in Y and Z plane. This is a cake and your birthday cake of some student, whatever, and you are going to tear it down and shear it, and that will be in YZ plane, and has a normal in X direction. So this plane, YZ plane, X and Y plane, Z plane, that have normal in X direction. So normal direction is in X direction. Understood? Okay, thank you. Now we are going to separate them. Separate these two bodies and draw equal and opposite forces between them resolved into X and Y components. So we have separated these two solid bodies, and you can see that when you are separating, you have to show the stresses. So I told you that when you are shearing, you are cutting, you are tearing the cake. So there should be shear stresses. Shear stresses developed. Okay. Normal stresses are sigma x and tau xy. All right. Why we have not taken this tau yz? Because we are considering a plane xy plane. If we are considering 3D body, then we can consider tau yz. Okay, got your answer? Okay. This they will be equal and opposite in direction, and axial stresses are always out of the plane, and shear stresses are parallel to a plane. Okay, another case. This was the case when your separation was vertical, in vertical plane. What if your separation is in horizontal plane? Or we can think of the stress between bodies formed by a different division of the same small region. These are two regions and we are going to separate them, and you can see that the surface separating the body is in XZ. X and Z, this Z front. You are going to separate and tear this apart, cake like horizontally. Why someone will cut a cake horizontally? Maybe someone is cautious in eating cream. Someone loves cream. Okay. Craziness. Okay. So normal will be in y direction. This is your normal with on the xz plane. Separating these two bodies and draw equal and opposite forces. These we have separated them and we have drawn equal and opposite forces, stresses, and resolved them into x and y components. So x and y we have resolved them into x and y components. Okay, you are right. There will be also third direction here out of the page, and that will be tau y, tau x and z. But since this is a plane, we are ignoring the 3D directions. So in x and y we have resolved them. Okay. The force per area across surfaces. These are the stresses. He is defining stress. With normal in x and y direction are different. You can see normal in y direction and normal in x direction are different. They are different. Okay, but what is similar? Tau xy and tau yx, are they equal? That's a question. Similarity does not mean they are equal. For the time being, I am using a similar word, similar. Let's move forward and let's look that either this tau xy and tau yz, tau xy and tau yx are equal or not. Represent the stresses across two perpendicular planes at the same time by drawing them on a square element extracted from the central point. It says that okay, you need not to do this, you need not to do this. What you are doing is that there are surfaces and you are extracting some internal point, internal block. How you are going to extract that? It's like this one. This is your block. You are separating this from this surface from this surface, and this and this, and four surfaces you are going to extract, separate, shear. So you have shown similar that x face stresses in x direction, and this is xy plane, and this is x plane, x direction, and y. So x and y plane, shearing in x and y. Okay, this we will call that okay, we will come up here, and similarly at this face, and this stress should be opposite to this one, because this whole body should be in equilibrium, and this two components should also be in equilibrium, and this direction should be opposite to this one, and this direction should be opposite to this one. Understood? Look at it and absorb the concept. It's common to use a single drawing Okay, you can pause. I need not to just pause and stay for 2 to 5 minutes. You can pause the video and look deeper. All right. Now we have to look over here. Stress X. What is it? It is representing. Acting. Stress acts on X phase in X direction. It should be X sigma XX. X phase on X direction. First X will represent phase and second X will represent direction. Okay. In many books there is sigma XX. So sigma YY. Sigma Y represent on X phase in Y direction. So you cannot just relate to these things anyhow. It should be sigma YY, stress acting on X on Y phase and in Y direction. This is Y phase and in Y direction. Tau XY, shear stress on XY plane. You will say that shear stress acts on X phase in Y direction. X phase in Y direction. Shear stress tau YX, how you will say it? Shear stress acting on Y phase in X direction. Acts on Y phase in X direction. As we have seen, the signs give the sense of stress components. So sign and the senses shown are for positive values. So these all are showing positive values. The components shown are independent except tau xy is equal to tau yx for moments to be in equilibrium. So all components are in equilibrium. Okay. But one thing that I told you before, that either tau xy is equal to tau yx. The thing is this, that by considering equilibrium condition, you can certify this thing that they are equal, because tau xy and this tau xy are applying a moment, and that is counterclockwise. And to balance this moment and to make it zero, you need an clockwise moment, that is tau yx and tau yx, and that will, these are the couples. Understood? So tau xy and tau yx are equal. Consider now the interaction between two portions of body that meet at internal surface that is inclined with respect to xy. So that was simple xy direction and square body, and now it is saying that you should consider an inclined body is cut in an inclined surface, and xy coordinate axes are not the only surfaces on which to separate a small region into two bodies. We can separate along any plane. So this xy plane is not necessary that you have to separate along x and along y. They can be at any plane. Two small region is now separated into two bodies at an internal surface of arbitrarily chosen orientation. Here are two bodies. This force per area on their shared internal surface is of interest. So forces on these areas are of our interest. Actually, we are now incorporating the concept of theta. To make our equation more generalized, we need theta in our equation. So define the orientation of the inclined surface by the angle between its outward normal vector and the x-axis. So we will have to justify and calculate the angle between x-axis and x-axis. We need a means of describing orientation, the orientation of any internal surface. Orientation suggests the direction, and orientation is with respect to some axis, with respect to x-axis, with respect to y-axis. Generally we will be taking with respect to x-axis. We draw a vector pointing outwards from the internal surface. Stresses are always shown perpendicularly. Axial stresses are always shown perpendicular to the area, and area is always outwards. Then we use an angle to describe the orientation of the vector. See, this is an area surface, and this is a vector perpendicular to this surface, 90-degree angle, and outwards. And now we will suggest that what is the angle theta. For each internal surface there are outward normal vectors. This is outward normal vector. To describe the orientation of outward normal, rotate the positive x-axis counterclockwise through some angle to make it align with the outward normal. So this will be always counterclockwise. This normal will be always counterclockwise. Angles you have always to take counterclockwise. The angle of rotation theta defines the orientation of outward normal. In surfaces 1 and 2 corresponds to opposite faces, so they satisfy this one. So surface 1, this is an outward, and this is just a theta degree. And what about this one? There is a difference of how much? 180 degree. So theta plus 180 will justify this angle of this one with the positive x-axis. So theta 2 is equal to theta 1, this should be theta 1, plus 180 degree. So theta 1 plus 180 degree turn, you will reach this surface. Understood? Absorb this concept. Okay. These are orientations of the surfaces. Got it? On an inclined surface, define the normal stress and as positive if outwards tension, and define shear stress as positive when it is 90 degree counterclockwise from the outward normal. Outward normal. If there is a normal stresses, he states that you should show normal stresses and shear stresses on these surfaces. Okay, he says that okay, you are going to show normal stresses and shear stresses. What about the direction? What about the sign? Either they are positive or negative. He states that let's use some assumption. Let's use, if your vector is normally acting on the surface and that is outwards in tension, then that is positive, and if your shear stress is 90 degree counterclockwise from the outward normal, then that is positive shear. Okay, let's see. The force per area stress between the two bodies is equal and opposite. Okay, these two bodies parts are equal and opposite. We resolve the force on the surface into components not along x and y, but in direction perpendicular and parallel to the surface. Perpendicular to the surface there are normal stresses, and parallel to the surface there are shear stresses. These force components per area, these stresses, normal and shear, depend on theta. Okay, their magnitude also depend on theta, so are written as function of theta. They should be written and they must be written as a function of theta. Alright. The normal stress theta, this one, is defined as positive if that is in tension outwards. If that is out of plane, then that is positive. If that is inside the plane, then that is compression, and that will be considered as negative. The shear stress, shear theta, is defined as positive if it points 90 degree counterclockwise. 90 degree counterclockwise, not clockwise, counterclockwise, then that is with the then that is positive shear. Since the force must be equal and opposite on opposing face on which theta differs by 180 degree. Okay, this is on one plane. On another plane you have to add 180 degree because there are rotation of 180 degree. So theta 1 plus 180 degree. And similarly for shear stresses on another plane you have to add 180 degree and you will get this one. Understood? Our goal is to determine shear stress theta and shear direct stresses and shear stresses in terms of x and y components. These are the components and these. What we are interested, I have told you before that there are these stresses, this one and this theta, and we are going to develop some formulation such that this variable theta should be included in our equation. Stresses, direct stresses and shear stresses are related to normal and shear strain of inclined element. Are related to normal and shear strain of inclined elements. So they are related to strains too. Stresses are always related to strains too. Normal stresses will have normal strains and shear stresses will have shear strains. In our previous section we recognized that there would be normal and shear strains when viewing segments inclined relative to x and y. The stresses, normal stress and shear stress are related to these strains along the direction other than x and y. So this is a normal strain and this is corresponding stresses, and this is shear strain and there is corresponding shear stresses. Understood? Good. So this is an end to 7.2 and let's move to example problem. Example problem 7.1. What is suggest? Determine the angle theta that describes each of the internal surface shown. So you have to find the angle theta. Okay. What is the angle theta with the positive x-axis? Okay, and it should be perpendicular to that one. Okay, perpendicular to this one. This surface angle should be area is this area outwards. What is angle? It is formulated with the x-axis. So we will draw perpendiculars, here perpendicular, this one perpendicular and here perpendicular, and with the help of engineering mechanics principles we have to calculate the angle. How we are going to do? Okay, this is 30 degree with vertical. If I draw some horizontal line, so that horizontal will make 30 degree with the horizontal. Understood? This is a theorem. So if this is 30 degree and you draw a horizontal line and an inclined plane and that is perpendicular to the surface, then that angle will be 30 degree too. So how you are going to positive x-axis? What is the angle of this perpendicular to this plane? Vector perpendicular to this plane. So that is 180 plus 30 degree. Understood? So that is 210. So theta is 210. Very simple. This 30 degree is given. So you need to find an angle perpendicular to this one, but you can take an assistance of the theorem that if this is perpendicular to y-axis, angle perpendicular to y-axis, then angle perpendicular to x-axis will be 30 degree too. Got it? And then from positive x-axis you have to calculate the angle to this perpendicular to this surface. Now again for this one, you have to find this perpendicular to this area, this one. How you are going to find it? This is 90 degree and plus 40 degree and minus that with that. So this will formulate a triangle. This is 90 degree, this is 40 degree, and this is questionable. So these are alternate angles. So this alternate angle, so we will be able to find this one. So 90 plus 40 and 180 minus 90 minus 40, you will get 50 degree, or another way 90 minus 40, you will get this one. Okay, simple. This one, area perpendicular to this one, your vector is here, perpendicular. So how much perpendicular? So that is 90 degree. So if you set minus this 90 minus 25, so you will get 65, but this direction is against the assumed direction, that is anti-clock, that is clockwise, so we will take minus sign, minus 65. Understood? Very simple. Very simple. In this question we had to find angle theta, positive angle theta with the x-axis and on the face of that cutting edge. Alright, this is an end to example 7.1. Example 7.2. Okay, these are fundamentals to our upcoming lessons, so you should be clearing your concepts now, otherwise it will be quite difficult for you to cover up upcoming lectures. Draw internal surface corresponding to angle theta, this. You have to draw surfaces, okay, and those surfaces should be perpendicular to these angles. Understood? Okay. So this theta is 105. This is from positive x-axis. From positive x-axis 105 degree turn, and you have to make a surface that is perpendicular, that this angle or that vector should be perpendicular to that. So draw outward normal that is at the angle theta clockwise from x-axis. So this is x-axis. You have drawn 105 degree, and this is x-axis. You have drawn minus 160 degree. Minus means positive, that is clockwise, anti-clockwise, counterclockwise, and negative is clockwise. And this is 330 degree, so positive, so 330 degree. What you have to do, another thing is this, that you have to draw some surface that will this vector should be perpendicular to that surface, and some surface that should be perpendicular to this surface, and some surface that should be perpendicular to this surface, this vector. Draw internal surfaces so that they are perpendicular to the outward normals just found. Very simple. This vector is now perpendicular to this one, and if you draw a horizontal line, or if you just extend it over here and you just calculate the angle, then that should be 105 degree. And if you just calculate the angle with the horizontal, then that should be 160 degree. Understood? 160 degree from counterclockwise, and okay, and in another way you can also take this, that 360 minus 105, that you can also say that minus that angle, so you will formulate the same figure. Okay, this is an end to problem 7.2. Problem 7.3. Each of the surfaces and stresses shown indicate if stress and shear are positive or negative. You have to show that the stresses are positive or negative. First, you should remember the key rule that if stresses stress are normal to the area, and that is in outwards to the surface, then that is applying tension. then that is positive. If that is applying compression, that is negative. So this is applying compression, this is negative. This is applying tension, that is positive. This is applying compression, that is negative. Okay. If your vector shear is counterclockwise with this perpendicular to the positive tension, then that is positive, and then that is positive, and you will have to decide that. This one, this is your negative direction, and this is counterclockwise. Negative. Alright. Solution. For each surface, draw the outward normal. You have to draw outward normal, and for each surface, this one is normal, this one is normal, and you have to look at if this axial stress is greater than 0, that is tension, then that's tension, and this is greater than 0, tension, and then this is greater than 0, that is tension. This is positive x-axis. And recall that theta is greater than 0 if outwards from surface tension, and recall that theta sigma shear tau is greater than 0 if it acts in the direction 90-degree counterclockwise from theta is greater than 0. If axial stresses are positive and that angle formulated by tau is 90-degree, then that is positive. So you have drawn the positive direction, and this is the positive direction, and this is the positive tau direction, and that direction shear direction. So these are your positive components. Okay, these are your self-developed. Now you have to compare with this one. If they are not matching, then they are in negative direction. So this is not matching this one, so this is negative, and tau is matching, not matching, so tau is also negative. And axial, you can see over here, they are matching. Axial stresses are positive, shear are also positive, and axial stress is not matching this one, so that is negative, and shear is also not matching. Shear is matching, shear is positive. Compare these stresses mathematically. So you can see that tau is less than 0, this one, and shear is, compare it with this one, shear is also less than 0, so both are negative. And now compare this one with this one, axial outwards, this is also outwards, so tau is greater than 0, and compare this one, tau is greater than 0 is in this direction, and tau is greater than 0 is in this direction, so they are matching, so this is positive. Tau is greater than 0. Okay, here there should be a correction. I think there's a mistake. Tau should be greater than 0. Alright, here this arrow should be in another direction, positive. This one, tau is here, positive, and these are not matching, so tau is less than 0. Okay, got it? Now on the basis of this, you can, if sigma is less than 0, then that is negative, tau is less than 0, then that is negative direction. Okay, the question states that either you have to represent that is stresses are positive or negative. You have formulated and drawn your own assumptions, and you have to compare them, and you have to justify. Example problem 7.4. Draw internal surfaces and stresses corresponding to these and these. You have to draw the surfaces and you have to represent the angles too. Okay. Number 1. Theta is -75 compression. No, this is theta. Okay, theta means you have to go clockwise, and that angle should be 75 degree, and 75 degree with the x-axis, and you have to draw a surface, and that surface should be perpendicular to the. So if you calculate the angle of this perpendicular with x-axis, then that will be -75 degree. All right, got it? Okay. Another thing, axial stress is 80 megapascal. 80 is positive, so it is outwards. 80 is this arrow, and 80 is greater than, sigma is greater than 0, so this is 80. He should write here 80, and sigma is equal to 80 is greater than 0. He should have written like this. That would be better. Anyhow, just he maintained the simplicity. And shear is -60 megapascal. So if that is counterclockwise to this perpendicular, this is counterclockwise to this perpendicular, then that is positive. This is the positive sense, and we need minus, so your arrow will be in this another direction, so minus. He has redrawn these figures or no? No, he has not redrawn these figures. Okay, here he has drawn this one 80 and minus this one, and he should show the angle that is this external angle 75 degree. Okay, understood? Another one, theta is 230 degree positive with the x-axis, so means counterclockwise with the x-axis. So this is your x-axis, so counterclockwise you have to move to 30 degree and make a perpendicular, and you should redraw the surface. And then axial stress is minus, so first you have to show positive directions. So how we are going to show positive? Positive is outwards, sigma is greater than 0, and you move counterclockwise, and if your sigma is making an angle 90 degree, then that is positive. So these are positive direction, and what it says minus, so it should be against this. So this direction should be against this one, and it should be in compression, and this is minus, so this should be opposite to this one. So this is your end. Understood? Very simple. So you should draw these, solve these problems, and you should try it yourself, and they will be simple. In upcoming lecture we will discuss stress transformation formulas. So these were fundamental concepts and very essential. You should clearly understand them and discuss, and if you have any query you can ask me, and that's it for today. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.